there's a meet coming up this week and there's a meet coming up next week or another game coming up after that, or a match here and there, if they're competing in the off season, I think that builds up a little bit of mental toughness that they take with them. So,
and I think that part of just kids in general today don't compete enough outside of, school. Like,
most definitely.
I mean, I remember being a kid, just playing a game of 500 in the backyard that literally meant nothing. And I don't remember who won or lost right now, but I mean, I can remember battles.
Oh, yeah.
In the backyard. And I mean, I just feel like kids don't do that. And it's like, just compete. I mean, when I was younger, everything I did, I was competing. I mean, sometimes my wife gets mad at me because we'll play a game with the kids like Clue or something, and I get mad if I start losing. I'm like, I got to win.
Hell yeah.
What's the freaking candlestick?
Hey, that Pong game you were playing on the 4th of July was pretty competitive.
Yeah, that Pong. Yeah,
that gets very
really
bad. Gary turns into a big jerk about the rules.
I do.
He's got all these house, and then he creates them on the fly. He creates new rules on the fly when he's losing. He does do that.
I don't do that.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, hey.
That's true. Oh yeah,
but yeah, I just I mean, you're absolutely right. Kids need to compete and compete in something.
Oh yeah.
And, competing in track, I think is fantastic for those guys in the spring. You ran track at Mizzou. Talk a little bit about your experience there at the University of Missouri.
Well, I was a walk-on, so,
a little different.
A little different. You're not, you were the big fish in the small pond. Now you're a small fish in the ocean, up there at a Division I school. Quiet as it's kept. I think I'm the only one who knows this. When Mizzou opened up a new track, that was my freshman year, and so the first collegiate 800-meter race that they ran there, I won that race, and so I held Mizzou's school record, or the track record, maybe not the school record, the track record, for about 2 hours until they ran the varsity division, basically.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all right.
And my good friend Derek Peterson, who competed in the 2004 Olympics, went ahead and blew that out of the water, by probably about 10 seconds, but
hey, you still were a Mizzou record holder.
That's right.
I don't think it's written down anywhere, though.
Hey, that's all right.
But it's written down between these 2 ears,
Absolutely.
I found it in Wikipedia. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go. How do you
There's too much black and gold in here right now. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah.
He's feeling outnumbered.
The border war got announced this week, that the border war is back. Do you have any fond memories of going to some of those games back in the day when Kansas would come over?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my roommates were on the football team. Shout out to Carlos Posey, Julian Jones. And so I remember they'd get me tickets to the game. I'd drive down to go to the game in Lawrence the years they were there, and they would give me tickets to games in Columbia too, and some hard-fought battles with those games, man. I was at Arrowhead for the side racing.
Okay.
That was an awesome experience.
That was a good game.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of fond memories of Mizzou KU. So
yeah, I mean, I think that year at Arrowhead, were they 1-2 or 2-3? I mean,
one and two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both years.
Yeah, I think
both years it was flip flopped. The team that won really hurt the.
Well, it was definitely that 2007 season. I think 8 they were probably both high in the standings, but that 07 season they were 1 and 2.
Was that the year KU went to the Orange Bowl and Mizzou got shafted?
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I said it. Didn't I say it?
Oh, you did say shafted.
I
you
did say it.
shafted.
I'm an honest guy, man.
Yeah, we had to go play Bradford. Bradford just. They beat the brakes off of us.
But I mean,
Mizzou never gets a good bowl. They never do.
We had a good Cotton Bowl. We went down there and beat up Arkansas.
Yeah, but that's not even a good bowl anymore.
Yeah.
That's really not even a a good bowl anymore.
I mean, it's just
we got ranked 5th in the country after winning that game.
Says the KU guy.
I always say there's
they don't
bowl,
play it at
bowl
the Cotton
games
Bowl
are tough
anymore.
to judge unless now that we're in the playoff system. But I always say bowl games are hard to judge because some coaches treat it as a vacation for their guys to reward them for working hard all year.
Right.
And so when they get there, they don't put in the work it takes to win a football game. And then other coaches treat it as a business trip and say, we'll party after.
Oh, yeah.
And, so I always think it's tough to judge who's going to win a bowl game or, how it's going to go because different coaches take different mentalities with it.
Well, the other positive thing out of that is you get how many more weeks of practice.
Oh, yeah.
Then the other schools aren't getting that. They have to quit practicing.
Well, I mean, pretty much everybody gets a bowl game now.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, there's 572 bowl games.
And you bet on every one of them.
I do not bet on every one of them. There was a year where I bet on
we did. No,
we bet on all of them.
We bet on every single. We did. We had a group bet, and we
that's
had
right.
like a group betting.
We bet something on every game.
We bet
that's right.
on every single bowl. Well, what is they were offering bonuses if you bet on like X amount of games, and so me, him, and Joey were like, let's bet on all of them, and we actually did good. We did really good.
We won money.
Well, your odds are better.
We carried it over to March Madness,
and we won more.
Yeah,
I think I'm still playing off that money I won from Bovada.
I'm not, but
that's because you're not very good betting. You're not very good at betting.
Hey, Coach, these guys
says the guy that lost the bet to me 2 weeks ago.
Bad influences over here on you.
Said what?
No. Says the guy that lost a bet to me 2 weeks ago, and then there's a guy over here sitting that lost a bet to me over the weekend. No, you lost a bet to me over the weekend too.
I did. That's right.
Real quick, okay. Penn State, Michigan.
7.5.
I took Michigan 7.5. Guess what? They lost by 7. My boy
Harbaugh
loses in style.
You always get louder about this time in the show, guys.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's true. A little passionate about the gambling, about the grambling.
I'm hearing Harbaugh's thinking about looking for the door. Is that true?
Yeah, I saw something about NFL for him.
Dallas.
Yeah, I did.
Dallas.
I did read,
that's what it is. He's going to Dallas.
No, he ain't going to Dallas. I did read that he sent letters to Michigan parents saying that he is not looking elsewhere right now.
That's locked in. He's going.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That's exactly how that goes.
This is a whole nother subject, really. But I mean, coaches in the NCAA can leave whenever they want. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I mean, with the transfer portal, it's gotten a little better for the athletes. But I've always thought, they're locked in because it's about relationships. A kid's going to go to a university based on that coach recruiting them.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of times when kids get there, that coach is gone.
Look for
typically the guy recruiting them is a coordinator or a position coach. Then all of a sudden he's gone when I get there. I mean, I don't know.
We saw that with there was a school that a coach left and a whole bunch of guys. I can't remember. It's like recent in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think there is a rule now where like if the head coach leaves, then those recruits, because they haven't actually went on campus yet, are released. But the kids that are there, I think even if you transfer, I think you're given the option to transfer, but I think you got to sit out.
Wait, dude, that makes O'Brien's
you probably do. You probably do. Yeah. I'm sure you have to sit out if you're on campus.
You're already there.
Yeah. Well, I think there was the biggest exception we saw was probably when Joe Paul got in trouble.
Yeah,
Penn State. Mm-hmm. But dude, that
was
makes
a different deal.
That makes what O'Brien did there like massively impressive.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he got his NFL job with Houston. Which he's done a good job down there too.
I mean,
dang, they still won games.
Franklin did pretty well too, didn't he?
Yeah, Franklin's there now. Yeah, he's doing
a good job.
Well, here Jerry Jones isn't going to win another Super Bowl until either A, he gets a coach that's from Arkansas, or B, that's coached in the state of Oklahoma, because that's the only.
We talk about this every week.
Yeah. So you got two coaches right now in Oklahoma that are pretty good football coaches, right? And then you got one in Dallas that's getting ready to coach a XFL team. So Bob Stoops. So he's got three to choose from that have coached in the state of Oklahoma.
The rumor I heard, I think
fire Jason Garrett.
USC is looking for a coach, or well, that will be. It's not yet, but
it's coming.
Bob Stoops.
Stoops to USC, huh?
Stoops to USC.
He'll leave that XFL job.
Because how long is the XFL going to last?
I think actually,
I think the XFL's going to
Urban Meyer, and I've said it on here before. Urban Meyer is the number one guy. If Urban Meyer does not go to USC, then it's going to be Bob Stoops.
He's going to make me hate.
One of those two guys will be the USC coach next year. Write it down.
Isn't Urban Meyer an Ohio State grad?
No,
he wasn't.
Well, he might be, but I mean, he left that job.
He left Florida to
left
go
Florida
there.
and went to Ohio. Took a couple years off. Went to Ohio State.
Okay, he's doing the same thing now, so he may go USC.
I'm telling you, USC.
USC.
We were talking.
And he's on college football Saturday every week with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush.
Right.
So don't think that
They're
recruiting
pulling
pitch
them in,
ain't
huh?
happening. Hey, come look at these honeys on the beach, Southern California.
Hey.
The deal is too
Family
wherever
man.
he goes. I don't personally like the dude, just because of some of the character flaws of his assistants. But Urban Meyer wins, like winner, right?
He's won everywhere he's been.
In the modern era, in like this kind of modern era, in the last like 10 years or so, it's like it's Saban, and then it's probably Meyer, right?
I'd say
Saban
so.
or Meyer, or maybe Sweeney.
Yeah, Sweeney.
Yeah, Dabo.
Dabo's turned freaking Clemson into a powerhouse.
Okay, we kind of
Well,
got.
if you can get him to leave Ohio State, then that means Harbaugh stays, right?
Well, I mean, he's already not coaching there this year. Ryan Day took over.
Oh,
so,
is that what, okay.
Yeah,
and they're still rolling.
Well,
yeah,
we'll
Urban
see.
Meyer's on college football Saturdays.
Okay.
And we got away from this KU-MU thing that you were going to talk about this. How many games will MU beat KU in basketball over this contract?
It's probably 0.
What is it, a 5-year
No,
deal?
wait. It depends on if Bill Self gets kicked out.
Well, that's why the whole thing happened. Because, Bill Self was the one who was saying, no, we don't need to play the rivalry games because, I don't know, these guys left us or whatever. But the problem is he's not Teflon anymore. Things are starting to stick.
Yeah.
He's got that NCAA investigation
We'll
hanging
blame-
around his neck.
Hey, it came after one rapper at late
and-
night.
and
That's
Snoop Dogg
that's
affair.
Snoop.
I'm telling you,
Snoop
I
talked.
call these
Snoop-
bullets, man.
By the way,
Snoop talked Bill into playing
This
Mizzou.
is-
That's what happened.
I think that Bill Self gave a big middle finger to the NCAA with that whole Snoop Dogg thing and the fake money,
Gotcha.
and Adidas paying Snoop. KU didn't pay Snoop.
Okay.
Adidas paid Snoop.
Okay.
When's football coming back?
KU don't want that smoke. They don't
I'm
want
about
that.
to say, K doesn't want to do that. They
don't
don't
want
want
that.
that.
Hey, look, they
breaks
nearly
off
beat
those guys.
Texas last week, and Mizzou loses to Vanderbilt.
We
So
shall see.
No.
there you
tell you.
No. What happens there is it's actually the same thing that happened to both schools. So Mizzou has a big win. The week before Vandy, they beat up on who they beat up on?
Georgia,
It wasn't Georgia.
Somebody.
no.
They beat up on somebody. They're feeling really good about themselves. Vandy switches quarterbacks. They're feeling really good about their new quarterback. They play us in a tough game. They beat us. Texas gets done playing OU, which was like really, really good game. Emotional high. They kind of go down off that. They stroll into was it at Lawrence?
KU and OU.
No, it was in Texas.
It was in Texas.
Texas had a letdown game after
Well,
playing
that game's
OU.
always
Yes,
in
this
Texas.
guy because he's
That game's
way
always
bigger
in
on
Texas.
Texas than
Yes.
I am.
Texas had a letdown game after playing OU.
At the fair.
Yeah, I don't know who they got next week, but they were like,
Too much
we
funnel
got
cake.
Kansas coming in here. And Les Miles is a good enough coach to get those guys to believe for a hot second that they can play with the athletes Texas has. But when it came down to it, Texas had more athletes and made more plays and
No,
did just enough to win.
KU scored too quick.
Yeah.
Did just enough to win. But the line was 21.5 on that, so
Did you bet that game?
I did. Anybody who took KU was really smart. Not me.
You know what? Historically, though, over the last few years,
Yeah, no.
that has been a good game. KU beat Texas 2 years ago in Lawrence.
That cost Strong his job.
Yeah.
It did.
So, I
think it
mean,
And I think if KU would have somehow pulled that game off, then all those guys, Tom Herman on down, they should have all been fired
It should have, yeah.
if they lost to Kansas at home.
I mean, Les Miles got a pedigree.
Yeah, he
Got a
does.
pedigree.
Well,
And he's going to get them better.
when they
KU
switched
KU's
coordinators,
definitely
offensive
better this
coordinators, too. Huh?
Do what?
They switched offensive coordinators a couple weeks ago, too. I think that helped.
They did it right before they played Texas.
Yeah.
They did switch OCs, so that made a difference.
So when will that game come back, do you think?
Let's see how the basketball games go for a while. I still think Kansas doesn't want that smoke. Not at this point. We'll see.
I don't either.
Les Miles gets in there.
I mean, you don't
he
want
gets-
it.
Let them make a bowl game.
If they're both really crappy or if they're both really good, that's when you bring it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because if
because-
it's
yeah, that makes
unbalanced, there's
sense.
going to be a problem. Yeah.
Because KU right now they kind of try to schedule cupcakes
Yeah.
until they get to
Big 12 play.
a Big 12 play. But Big 12 right now is pretty much OU and then everybody else, really.
Yeah,
we kind of thought Texas was going
I
to kind
thought
of give them a
Texas
run.
was going to give them a run.
It's OU and everybody else, as long as they keep getting those quarterbacks.
Texas is still going to play OU again in the Big 12 championship.
OU is going to beat them.
But OU will beat them again.
I think they'll beat them. I think they beat them.
They're not
I think
ready.
they'll beat
They're
them
not
worse.
ready for that yet. But
I
they
think,
will.
I think they'll beat them by a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, they will.
Jalen.
Just think if there were 3 football powerhouse schools in the state of Texas, what those 3 programs would be like. There's just too many really good, decent teams in the state of Texas, and the state's no longer big enough to provide football players to all the schools.
They had it for a hot second.
Yeah.
Tech and Texas and Baylor were all pretty good.
Yeah.
For like a minute.